that's about all I know in Ukrainian, and I will finish with дякую. So those are the two words I know in Ukrainian. I will talk to you about a subject that is not so very usual and not so familiar in a medical conference like this. I will talk to you about how to give feedback to your colleagues. It is not so usual, but it is very important because it is one of the ways, one of the possibilities to improve the quality of our work together. Let me see how this works. I have nothing to disclose. It's about feedback. First of all, I would really appreciate it, and of course, well, at some point I need a headset, of course. But if you have any questions in between, please raise your hand, raise the question, because I would like to have this as interactive as possible. Don't be afraid, raise the question, because that's it makes things more lively and more interactive. Feedback is a process in which the effect or an output of an action is returned, fed back, to modify the next action. In other words, to learn from something that has been done before. A Cochrane review said, that's already 6 or 7 years ago, feedback generally leads to small but important improvements in professional practice. The effectiveness of feedback seems to depend on baseline performance and how the feedback is provided. So it is evidence-based, it works. Now, first of all, I will talk to you about feedback in a hierarchical situation, which is the situation where most of you are pediatricians, I suppose. Is that correct? Could you raise your hand if you are a pediatrician, please? Okay. And who are residents, who are in training to be a pediatrician? No? Yeah, 1, 2. Oh, more. Okay, yeah. Thank you. So most of you are pediatricians. So most of you have some experience with training others. That training could be pediatricians in training, but it could also be nurses, or it could be general practitioners in training, or whatever. I mean, in a training situation, there is some kind of a hierarchy, and that feels at least a little bit comfortable. At least it feels more comfortable than giving feedback to a direct colleague, at least in my country, and probably also in your country. This feedback in a hierarchical situation, in a situation where is a training situation, often it is planned. It's a planned situation that you have made an arrangement with the one who is going to do something. It could be an investigation, it could be an anamnesis with the parents or whatever. Beforehand, you have planned to give that person feedback, and you do that normally, at least that's preferable, you do that in a systematic way. There is a learning goal orientation and not a performance goal orientation, which means it works better when at the end of the feedback you don't give a grade. It is not, you don't give some kind of a grade, there is not a performance goal. The goal should be learning. Anyway, so this is these are the preconditions regarding especially the feedback in this learning situation. I come to the situation where we give feedback to colleagues, but I start with the situation where you give feedback to people you train. It should be respectful, friendly, and constructive, obviously. It should have a clear goal agreed by both. When you do a physical examination, beforehand you have agreed that this or this should be the goal of that performance. No, not performance, that activity. It should have input by both. It should be aimed at improvement, and it should never be condemnatory. It is, by the way, I am translated. Am I talking too quick, or is it all right? It seems to be all right. Okay, good. It should be aimed at the behavior, not the person. So it should not be a personal feedback. It should be aimed at behavior, and it should have adequate timing and quantity. So you should not give a lot of things that need to be improved. Be aware of adequate quantity and adequate timing. In my country and in many other countries, in this learning situation, we use the so-called Pendleton Rules. They have, Mr. Pendleton already described this 35 years ago. And basically, these are the 5 steps. First of all, the learner states what was done well. Then the observer states what was done well. I mean, in that order. Then the learner states what could be done better and what could he have done otherwise next time. What could be improved. Then the observer states what could be improved, but also how. So it's not only what could be improved, but you should also think of how the learner could improve it the next time. And finally, there should be a summary, preferably a summary by the learner, because then it is much more effective. But anyway, there should be a summary, and an action plan for the next time or the next period should be made. I gradually come to the feedback situation among colleagues. And of course, my country and your country, they are quite a distance apart, but in many countries, there is some hesitancy regarding giving feedback to a direct colleague. And these are a few of those reasons. Well, it's not my place to give feedback. I don't know how to give feedback well. It's not up to me to decide what's good or what is right. It's not that important. If I say nothing, it will probably sort itself out. People know when they've done a good or bad job. They don't need telling them. I so much like the person. I don't want to upset them. I don't want the person to react angrily. And the other person might not welcome the feedback. Anyway, and these are only a few of those reasons why we have some hesitancy regarding giving feedback to colleagues, while at the same time it is so important. Feedback among colleagues is often unplanned, because you don't know that a colleague is doing, you don't know beforehand that a colleague is doing something that you may dislike, or that you do not approve, or that you think might have done better. You don't know that beforehand. It's unplanned. Well, at the same time, your colleague is doing something where you think it could be improved, and where you think the other deserves it to get feedback in order to improve his behavior or his actions the next time. So you deserve to get feedback. It's a gift, actually. It's a gift, and if you do it constructively and friendly and in a systematic way, it's not condemnatory, and it does not harm the relationship, because that's what we all are afraid of, that we give feedback to a colleague and that it will harm our relationship with the colleague, and that we do not want that. But it's a fear, and we have a possibility, many possibilities, but we have possibilities to get over that. And one of the techniques I will show to you is a technique that has been invented or described by Marshall Rosenberg. He is the creator of the so-called nonviolent communication. It is a way of communication where he thinks also in politics and in other situations this could be used, and he describes it in many different ways, in many different books, and I will show you a technique that originates from his book and from his theory, and it needs non-violent communication skills. It differentiates observation from evaluation. So it is about observing and not evaluate. It differentiates feeling from thinking, without judgment, without criticism, without blame. It connects universal needs and values. And basically, we all have the same values, more or less. I mean, we have a different culture probably, but the values are more or less the same. And it should be a request, not a demand, because you are a direct colleague, so you could never demand, but you have a request at the end of your whatever you have to say. Anyway, so the non-violent communication steps, and I will in a minute I will practice it a little bit with you. At least I hope it will be possible. You start with what you have seen. So I see. I see you. I have seen you doing anything, or have seen you acting like this, as objectively as possible, observing the situation without evaluation, without blame, without moralistic judgment. So as precisely describing what you have seen. Then you say what you felt, what your feeling was when you saw the other doing whatever he did, or she. Then you explain why you got that feeling. And finally, you ask. It is a request, it's not a demand. You cannot demand anything, but you request something to the other. A very easy situation. It's not among colleagues, but it shows you how it could work. In my hospital, and actually in my country, it is not allowed to smoke in front of the entrance of the hospital. Maybe in your country too, I don't know, but in my hospital it's not allowed. And when I see someone smoking in front of the hospital, I might go to the person, I say, I see you smoking in front of the hospital. I mean, it could not be denied because he's doing that, isn't it? I mean, so it cannot be denied. So what you have seen can never be denied, because it is actually something that's happening, and you observe. So I see you smoking in front of the hospital. It gives me a rather uncomfortable feeling, because I'm a pediatrician. So I feel it gives me a feeling because you explain why. Because I'm a pediatrician, I treat patients with lung diseases, and it's not good when my patients enter the hospital within this through this smoke. So I would like to ask you to stop smoking in front of the hospital, and please move to the other area where it is allowed. So it is actually one sentence. It's not a whole story. It's a monologue, but it is the start of. It's often a start of a conversation. Not always, because the person who is smoking, he says, "Oh, sorry," and he goes to the other place. But it could also be a start of a conversation, and the same goes with colleagues. What we do or what I do together with one of my colleagues, I give training, and when we give the training, we show a video. Many videos and obviously it's impossible to do this with I don't know, 150 people, but we show a video, and in this video you see a doctor performing in a way that is not that we don't like, or is not as it should be. So, for instance, in this case, this doctor, well, it happens to be me, is observing this doctor, while that doctor, so this doctor is training a junior doctor. And at some point in time in the video, the junior doctor has been pushed away physically by the doctor, and this has been observed by this doctor. And after having seen the video, we put two people in front of the group. I mean, the group is not so large, of course. And then there is a role play where one of the two is playing the doctor who has observed it, and the other one is playing the doctor who just showed the behavior that needs some kind of feedback. And in this way, every time again, we practice these steps. And one of the most important but also most difficult steps is the first step, I see. Because generally people tend to interpret what they see. So they tend to say, I saw you angrily pushing aside, or I saw you frustrated, etc., etc. But to be frustrated is an interpretation. It is not objectively observing, and so it can be denied. And the whole idea of this sequence is that your first step could never be denied. You should your first observation should be something that the other could never deny because it simply happened. So this is one of the videos. This is also a video where one of the doctors is acting well, not very nice towards another doctor in a meeting. This is a video where this doctor is a surgeon, and this is a pediatrician, and the surgeon is entering the neonatal unit with well, he has his watch. Well, in my country, probably in your country too, that we have hand hygiene where you're not allowed to have a watch, and you're not allowed to have long sleeves like this. Well, anyway, so also in this case, the doctor receives, the surgeon receives feedback from the pediatrician, and we play this in a role play. Now I put some effort, thanks to Ivana. Ivana is one of your colleague pediatricians. She is from Kiev, and she helped me with the translation. She's not here at the moment. She couldn't, but she helped me with the translation. And I will show you a video.
Ja, jij ook? Tomme, Anneke, waarom heeft u nou voor deze diabetes vanmorgen niet een combi-afspraak gemaakt? Die mensen komen hier, die verwachten op de psycholoog. Weet je, regel even gauw een afspraak bij de psycholoog.
Do it again. A little bit louder, maybe. Hey Anneke, goedemorgen.
Goedemorgen.
Hoi. Goed weekend gehad?
Ja, jij ook?
Tomme, Anneke, waarom heeft u nou voor deze diabetes vanmorgen niet een combi-afspraak gemaakt? Die mensen komen hier, die verwachten op de psycholoog. Weet je, regel even gauw een afspraak bij de psycholoog.
Well, it might be an exaggeration. On the other hand, some things happen. Probably also in your clinic or in your situation where you see a doctor exploding and is acting not very nice to his secretary. While at the same time, this is, at least in my opinion, in our opinion, not the way we should treat our secretaries. Although it could be that she made a mistake, but then again, this is not how we should behave towards our secretaries. So I'll come down and I'll ask. I need a headset, I think, because otherwise I don't understand. No, a headset. Oh, my. You translate for me also. Good. So who would like to? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Who would like to try to make the first sentence? What have you observed? So I see. Who would like to try? What have you observed? Was the translation underneath? Have you seen what was underneath? It was good translated. You understood. So who would like to try to say what you have seen?
Я побачила 3 колег. Перші фрази це була...
Sorry, I didn't explain well. You get the microphone. I didn't explain well. I meant you have seen this as a colleague, and 5 minutes later, you say to the colleague, shall we drink a cup of coffee, please? Because I want to talk to you about something. And then you sit here with a colleague, and what is then your first sentence to that colleague? You understand what I mean?
Ну, мабуть, тоді, щоб бути об'єктивним, я маю сказати, що я побачив, що твоєму пацієнту не зроблені певні обстеження. Тому що якщо я скажу, я побачив, що ти дуже сердитий, то це буде необ'єктивно. Ну, можливо, я побачив, що ти спілкувався з Марією, да? Ну, я так...
Я би сказала...
I'm the one who sorry. I'm the one who acted badly. So and you give me feedback. Okay.
Да. Вибач, у тебе все добре дома?
Yes. Of course everything is fine with me. Why do you ask?
Я була свідком того, що ти вів себе неадекватно. Я це побачила. І мені це надзвичайно неприємно, тому що колега, жінка...
But you didn't think it was adequate? I mean, it was ridiculous what she did. She ruined my whole outpatient clinic. I mean, she should know. I mean, this is we should all confront her with everything she did. She's absolutely so bad. We should fire her actually.
Я тебе підтримую. Має значення, в якій формі це сказати. Вона твоя колега, вона жінка, вона також робить свою роботу, можливо, в неї щось не вийшло, трішечки інша поведінка має бути, тому що це неприємно не тільки для неї, а й для нас, ті, які були свідками цього.
Very good.
Інакше весь день буде поганий і для тебе, і для неї, і для нас.
Okay, this is very good. I will explain some things later. Who would somebody else? Is there somebody else who would try? So, I'm.
Ну, можливо, треба було сказати.
I'm sitting. No, wait a minute. So I'm sitting here, and we have a cup of coffee. Because you say to me, please, I have to talk to you about something I just witnessed, and then The floor is yours.
Привіт, ти сьогодні так зайшов в кабінет дуже шумно і дуже голосно говорив. В тебе все добре? Ну, тут же ж треба якби прокоментувати дію, що я бачила, яку б він не міг би отрицати, да? Тому правильно було б сказати, прокоментувати, що він робив. Ти зайшов дуже такий збуджений і дуже голосно говорив. Ви не зможете цього ж відрицати, так?
Yeah, well, you're on the right track. Talking loud. What other things have you witnessed, have you seen that are undeniable, that are that could not be denied because it's absurd? A loud voice has been said. What else? Oh, sorry. What else?
He's coming in very quickly.
Yep.
We can make in German also.
Sorry. So
Він мав рацію, тому що дійсно дуже важливо для пацієнта зробити було все те, що він хотів. Він мав рацію, це правильно. Він вимагав від своєї колеги того, що вона зобов'язана була зробити, але не в такій формі.
No. I quite agree. But I just wanted to ask you. I come to you. So what have you observed that cannot be denied?
Он вошел не поздоровавшись, и мне думается, что, возможно, пациент отяжелел, и это вызвало такую гневную реакцию этого человека.
Okay, but he didn't say hello. Okay, that cannot be denied. Yeah.
Привіт. Я бачив, що ти дуже був засмучений через те, що сталося. Я хотів запитати, чи все в тебе добре, і я тебе розумію як лікар лікаря, але це можна було по-іншому якось сказати, бо я думаю, що вона це не навмисно зробила, не для того, щоб тебе якось зашкодити тобі роботі, всьому дню твоїм роботі. І я думаю, що вона зараз швидко все зробить і буде все чудово і в тебе, і в неї.
Yeah, well, I understand completely what you say, but my point is, I want to hear from you the undeniable things that you have seen, because you say you're talking about frustrating or angry, and that can be denied. He can say, "I wasn't frustrated," while he cannot deny that. For instance, he didn't say hello. It cannot be denied because he simply didn't.
Я увидела, что ты накричал на нашу коллегу, бросил документы и очень быстро вышел. Поэтому я ощутил страх. Даже мне было страшно и неудобно от того, что я увидел, так как дальше. Я почувствовал страх, мне стало неудобно из-за того, что я наблюдал эту ситуацию. И почему мне стало страшно? Потому что на самом деле в комнате было спокойно, коллега сидела, она не ожидала такого на данный момент обращения. Поэтому я прошу тебя, для того, чтобы не было таких неприятных ситуаций, попробуй в следующий раз быть спокойным, и тогда, скорее всего, такая ситуация больше не повторится.
The whole idea is well, okay.
Він в першу чергу не дав їй можливість пояснити, чому вона це не зробила. І цим самим вийшов і не почув її думку. І вона залишилася, можливо, вона щось хотіла сказати, але вона це не сказала.
Yeah. Well, I think everything has been said now. Oops. Look, what you have all seen and said is you have seen things that cannot be denied. So, for instance, not saying hello, walking briskly, shout, raise your voice, throwing papers on the desk. He said "damn it" or whatever. I don't know how it was translated in Ukrainian, but he was not using very polite words, and that cannot be denied because he simply did. Now, of course, you could start with a question like, well, that was quite something that I saw you just now. And then you have the possibility to let the other, in this case, this guy who, at least in our opinion, is angry, but we shouldn't mention the word angry because that's an interpretation. And then you have the possibility that the other has the possibility to how do you call it? Well, English is not my native language too, so it's I have a problem too. So it is. You have the possibility that the other is able to express his feelings about what happened to him. So he is saying, yeah, I'm so angry, and so okay. And now I would like to talk to you about the way you did this, because I saw you without any word of hello. I saw you entering the room while at the same time using words like "damn it," throwing papers on the desk with a loud voice. And I feel, and that's exactly what the lady over there said. What's your name? Marina. What Marina said. So I felt uncomfortable with that because, well, you could say anything because it's your feeling. It's an I message. Because, for instance, you said what you said. I could also say, because actually this is not the way we treat or we communicate with our secretaries. So I would like to ask you, like you, Marina, also did. So I'd like to ask you next time, please count to 10, for instance, and do not raise your voice, do not shout, and do not throw papers on the desk, but ask politely. Well, anyway, so this is a way you experienced how difficult it sometimes is to, especially that first sentence, to describe as undeniable as possible that the things that you have seen and that you have observed. So pitfalls in giving feedback. The interpretation, we've talked about that quite intensively. Don't be too polite. I mean, it should be straightforward. It's a monologue. It's a one sentence. Don't be too polite. Don't fear the reaction of the other. I mean, it is, like I said before, it is a gift. It's something that the other should welcome, and it primarily works when you, in your clinic, in your hospital, wherever you work, you try to implement this way of communication, this way of giving feedback to each other, so that everybody does it. Because we all have, at many moments in our work, moments where we deserve to get feedback and also to give feedback. Playing down too much at once and don't moralize. In summary, feedback works. Organized feedback in your own hospital, in your practice. When it's planned feedback in a learning situation, use the rules of Pendleton. I've put them on the screen. By the way, my presentation can be, I don't know who I have to talk to, but my presentation can be distributed to you all. And when there is unplanned feedback for instance in a situation where you deal with colleagues, use the I see, I feel, why do I feel, I ask technique. Only feedback seen along a learning continuum within a culture of feedback is likely to be effective. Дякую.
Я смотрю ребенка, которого вчера смотрел мой доктор из отделения и назначил ему антибиотик. И ребенок уже 1 день принял этот антибиотик. Вчера. Сегодня они консультируются у меня, я работаю рядом, и я вижу, вот вчера много говорили о неправильном сейчас активном назначении антибиотика, все понятно. Как мне правильно поступить? Я вижу, что он не нужен. Во-первых, я ни в одной литературе не нашла и не знаю, если раз дали антибиотик, можно ли его отменять. Честно, вроде мы понимаем, что можно, но в то же время нигде это не написано. И во-вторых, как мне быть и с мамой, и с коллегой? Спасибо большое.
Well, in this situation, probably a protocol or a guideline has not been used. So in this situation, your colleague should have given antibiotics yesterday, and for some reason he didn't. That is actually a little bit of a different issue, because you simply have a scientific or a Okay. Thank you. Anyway, so the colleague should not have given antibiotics. But anyway, this is the colleague apparently did not use the proper guideline or the proper protocol. And that is actually a little bit of a different situation, because then you start the communication with that colleague on a scientific basis. So what have been your arguments not to start or to start antibiotic or not to start? It doesn't matter actually. So what have been your arguments to neglect the guideline or to neglect the protocol? Well, this technique is more regarding behavior. I hope I could explain well what I meant. I don't know. I hope. Any other question? Yeah. At the back.
In English, thank you. I just want to ask you, like, you were talking about as a pediatrician, and if someone is just smoking in front of the hospital, that it's not allowed in your country. So my question is that, as a pediatrician, and you got insulted from that person, what would you do? Because no one will just entrap himself in such uneven moments. Like, what will you do in this case if you're gonna just insult it from the other person?
Well, I'm not a police officer, so the only thing I could do is to to request, like in this situation, to ask the other to act differently next time, or in this situation where he's smoking in front of the hospital, to go to another place and continue smoking over there. But if he say, yeah, fuck you, I don't care, then he just keep on smoking in front of the hospital, and I say, and it's his choice. I'm not in a position to grab him and to put him.
So you'll just keep silent and just go, yeah?
Well, it's a request.
Okay, I have one more question. You were just showing us a junior doctor and a senior doctor. That senior was pushing the junior and etc.
Yeah.
For me as a senior, and if the junior is pushing me and just insulting me and not directing very well, so what do you recommend in this case? Just vice versa.
Again, please.
Okay, I'm as a senior doctor.
You are a senior doctor, yes.
Okay, and you were showing the senior was pushing the junior and he was just acting in a different way. Okay, if this happened just vice versa, that the junior, as a senior, oh my God, sorry. The junior is pushing me, okay?
That's very peculiar, isn't it?
And is insulting me, for example, because like he's my director, he has the right to do anything, he's insulting me, he's not treating me in a good way. So do you think I shouldn't give in feedback in this case? Or I just need to keep silent, just to learn?
Well, this is something that regards the safety, the communication safety in your organization. The technique is difficult in a situation where you're among colleagues, but of course it's even more difficult when there is a hierarchical situation, and the senior doctor is doing something to a junior doctor, or the director of the hospital is doing something to the senior doctor, and it all depends on how safe regarding communication your organization is, and how safe it is to be able to talk out loud and to speak up also to the director of the hospital. I don't know, but I mean, this is something, it is in the interest of the quality of the organization to be able to speak up.
Thank you so much.